This is an Ellis Mowers and Mower small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's small engine repair, we have something that hopefully is not my famous last words. Hopefully one that's easy. Craftsman YT3000 runs, drives, and cuts. I got it this plus a couple of non-running pressure washers for $250 from a guy I know who does clean outs and stuff like that. So he probably made a quick buck off of me. I'll make hopefully a quick buck off of this. Made early 2010s from what I can tell. Got the hydrostatic in it. Got the turn tight steering on it, which is a little bit out of whack. Just a tiny bit. Hopefully I can hammer that back in to place here for this. Make it drive a little bit better. I think after it cleans up, it's going to be really nice. The blades, the belts look fairly new, both the drive and the deck. They don't really have much wear on them at all. The blades do not look like they have much wear on them at all either, which is good. I just need to make sure that they're level. And the main issue is that it just kind of runs a little bit rough. And probably needs a valve adjustment, but so I'm hoping that this is a quick flip for me. Get about $750, $800 out of this thing. Excuse me. So I hope this is a quick flip for me. Get about $750 to $800 out of this thing after I turn it around. I'm going to give it carb clean, valve adjustment, and sharpen the blades and change the oil, and hopefully, and see if I can get this knocked in a little bit better. And hopefully between those we should be able to get this thing going again. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on it. There's an anomaly which I'll show you here in just a second related to the engine, which I'll see if we can figure that out real quick before we dive into it. But I'm going to hopefully just take the carb bowl nut off and hopefully shove a piece of wire up into the jet, and maybe that'll clear everything out. Sometimes it does on these Nicky carburetors and the single cylinder Briggs, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and get started on it. And the anomaly that I'm talking about is it says it was supposed to have a Platinum Series 21 horsepower engine, but y'all know those are usually pretty bad about blowing connecting rods. This is a 19 horse in this. Intech, it doesn't have any Craftsman branding on it, so I'm wondering if it got replaced. The valve cover says from 2014. It's a 33R877 from November of 2014. So we're looking to see if this tractor is like a 2014, 2015 model year. And let's see. So it is not actually. So if we take a look at the model number, and the serial number 071113 means that this mower was made in 2013, which leads me to believe that whatever engine was in it has been swapped out for this one. So it's not a big deal. I mean, 19 horsepower is plenty for this mower deck and should work just fine. Just kind of a weird anomaly. Seat has delaminated just a little bit, but not too bad. Put a little duct tape right there on those areas and see if we can hit the steering back in. What I'm going to do is just take a hammer to those tabs right there and see if that will knock it back into place a little bit better. Because I mean, I don't know what else I can do, but I'm going to grease everything up, and so I'm going to see if I can knock that back into place, and after that I'll go ahead and get it in the carb. That appears to be better already, doesn't it? It was just a little out. I just took a hammer and just kind of knocked this tab right here and this tab right here in a little bit while I held the steering wheel, and shoot, if it just seemed like it decided it wanted to level itself back out. So in terms of the carburetor, I'll go ahead and get set up with that now. Just going to disconnect the anti-backfire solenoid, clamp the fuel line off, and just go ahead and take the bowl nut off and just grab a wire and just kind of sift it up through there. And maybe, just maybe, sometimes that does allow these engines to run better without having to take the carb completely off. That'll be awesome if that's the case, because then all I have to do is service this thing, wash it, and send it. Well, I drained some gas out, and there actually appears to be a decent amount of water in the fuel, so we may have to pull the tank on this. But let's just see what comes out of the carb bowl here. That didn't necessarily look terrible, but this is stuck. So, got a little bit of junk in there, I suppose. But I'm going to take this wire here and just kind of stick it up through here. I just want to see if this works. Like I said, I think there was a little bit of water in the fuel. So we'll put this back on. I've never in my life. Usually these things just go right back on. What's it causing? Or what's going on here? There we go. Just had to bend a different way, huh? Alright. I'm just going to do this one more time just to see. It appears that the water has cleared itself, so it may have just been temporary there. Sometimes this fixes it, sometimes it doesn't. Alright. Better, so let me see about doing a valve adjustment on it, and I'll go ahead and change the oil on it as well, and I'll meet y'all when we're doing the valve adjustment. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this carburetor off first. I thought I was going to do the valves, but I want to get it to run better before I go any further. I did take it out and I tested the blades, and the blades are fine, so that's good. The oil is actually extremely clean. It was just maybe 8 ounces low, so I ended up just adding a little bit of oil and calling it a day. I am going to have to drain this gas out though, because it's still got beads of water and stuff in it, and I don't know how old it is, so what I might do while I'm cleaning the carb is just get my oil pan and drain the gas out. But instead, because this has got like a whole fuel pump conglomeration on it, so what I'm going to do, instead of taking the engine cover off, sometimes I'll cheat this way and I'll take off just the intake. Pull a couple of 10 or 3/8, 10 millimeters, whatever your choice is. Intake bolt's kind of hot because, you know, just ran the engine. But so what I'm going to do now, I got to pull the breather tube off and pull the choke through the slot down here. Take the linkage out. But I'm going to take a 7/16 and an 8 millimeter and just go ahead and take the carb off. A lot of times I'll just do this just to save having to pull the engine cover and stuff. Okay. Like I said, we got a little bit of water in the fuel too, so I'm going to get my, I don't know how much gas we got in this thing, but I'm going to get my tube and get it out. But either way, you can see that I've got this off now. Get that linkage out of there. So I'm going to take this over to the bin, my little work area, see what we can do with it, and hopefully we can get this thing to run good. In the meantime, I'm going to let this gas, which I don't, like I said, I don't know how much there is in here. Oh man, we got about a half a tank in here. Let all this gas drain out into a pan. What I'm going to do is actually split this over to right here. Take the fuel line up off at right here, so it doesn't have to go through the fuel pump to drain out. Maybe it'll drain out a little bit faster. Alright, so take that off, have it primed, ready to go for the pan, and I'm going to meet y'all over at the bench. Well, unfortunately, the carb spray, or I had to carb spray it because the notorious screws just didn't come out. Usually I don't have issue with them, but these, I guess because of age, it did. As you can see, I got gas on the ground because my oil pan decided to spring a leak. Got everything drained out of the gas tank. Sprayed a bunch of carb spray in the carb, hopefully to fix that issue. And then now what I want to do is pull this little, there's a plastic piece off, like an adjuster. It's like an adjustment piece. I'm just going to pull, because it limits you as to how much you can pull it out for like the fuel air mix. So I'm going to just take this and cut it off or do something with it. There we are. I need to get that portion portion of it too. I don't know where my cutters are, that's why I'm using these garden shears. I'll cut this off. I don't want to break it, but there we go. And so I can open it up accordingly if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all back on. Hopefully we got it right without having to put another carb on this. Carbs are sometimes the cop-out route, but man, that's a surefire way to get them back going again. So a lot of people are like, doesn't run right, put a carb on it. Sometimes it's something besides a carb. It's a fuel delivery issue in this case, and this one is a carb issue, but sometimes it could be fuel filter, a clog in the system, shut off switch, a bunch of other potential things that could cause issues. So before I get all this back together, let me stick this tube up here. Stick this back in. I have a bad feeling I'll probably have to be pulling this thing out again, but might as well try, right? If this is the worst issue we got besides a valve adjustment, then I'll gladly take it, you know. I haven't filmed this video, or I don't think I'm filming a video on it, but I have a John Deere X475 out there that I had to put a flywheel on, and that's not one of those, you know, that's a horizontal shaft, drive shaft engine on it. That's the pre-X300 series, so the X475 is probably like the equivalent of like an old 425 or something like that. Big machine. Get these two screws back in here. Okay, let me grab my stuff again. Get strode all over the place, you know. And so what have we got? This. This. The 7/16. Before we get too ahead of ourselves here. And I need a quarter. Oh, darn. Get it in there, buddy. There we go. All right. Fuel line. I'm going to prep the gas maybe with a little bit of seafoam just to potentially get some remaining water out of it. Get everything ready. I am going to take care of that real quick, and then we'll start it up, see if it runs any better after I've sprayed some carb spray in it, and hopefully we can adjust this a little bit and get it to where it'll run. I really don't want to put a carb on it since this is kind of close to running good as it was before. Alright y'all, we're going to get lucky today, or I'll have to put a carb on this thing. Let's see, obviously it needs to fuel up real quick. From what I can tell, the fuel filter looks pretty good, so it looks like I'm going to have to throw a carb on this thing. I hate to do that because this thing runs, it's so close to running good, you know. I wonder if I could spray a little bit of spray into this fuel air mix here, because it doesn't seem like it's really, I doubt it though, I doubt it. Luckily, you know, carbs ain't too bad on these, so. Let it do its thing there. Maybe it'll knock something loose, you know. Oh well. Limited by what I can do because of the carb bowl gasket. The carb bowl screws are not coming off, so y'all saw me take it off and put it on. I'm gonna put a new carb on, see if it makes it any better. New carb fixed it. Woo! Excellent. Even this air filter isn't too bad. The pre-cleaner's just got a little bit of dirt on it, so it's still pretty good. So everything's back on. I gotta put this fuel line clamp back on. I'm gonna take this thing up and wash it while it cools down so that I can adjust the valves on it. I should have this thing ready to go in probably, I don't know, less than an hour at this point. It'll be ready today though, for sure. Forgot I need to put this little bitty 1/4 inch back in. These usually sell pretty good too. I can usually squeeze about $700 out of it. So if all I had to do is put literally, I think this carburetor cost me $15. All I gotta do is put that on it. That's good. So we'll go ahead and wash it while I got time. Level the mower. I'll push it back down here so I don't get the engine too hot. Change the valve. Probably have to change the valve cover gasket, but I do need to adjust the valves on it because it did feel like it was trying to kick back a little bit. Level the deck, sharpen the blades, and just make it look pretty. We'll be done here pretty soon. Well, here it is all cleaned up. This one was an easy one after all, right? Tried to save the old carb. It just didn't want to save, and luckily just slapped the new carb on there, and the thing runs like a dream now. So I'll give you all a little bit of a running. And the valves, I think the way that with it surging and stuff just kind of really upsets the engine, and so the valves haven't really acted up since I fixed the carb issue on it, which is good. But she's ready to roll. I'll do, I mean, this one's alright. This one's in pretty good shape for what it is. There's a little rust on the right side of the deck just from surface rust and stuff. So I'm gonna check the area listings just to see what's up on for sale, and probably gonna start this at 800. Realistically, it's probably gonna sell for like hopefully 750. I hope I can make about $400 to $500 off of it, which would be great for a couple of hours just cleaning it, changing the carb out, sharpening the blades. Because from what I can tell, overall this machine looks like it was pretty well taken care of, or at least was recently serviced. They opted for the little front bumper on it. They put the blades on it were fairly new. The belts look like they've recently been replaced as well, especially the deck belt. So I just got to make sure that the deck is level. It's still kind of low, and so I got to figure out why it's low. And this is the side. This is the one where you can only level one side of it, so it's not like I can raise it up overall, which is unfortunate. But overall, again, very easy fix. Not all of them are like pull them out of the backyard and turn them around, you know, have to do a bunch of work to them to turn them around. I figured since this one ran and drove, got it for $250 along with a couple of pressure washers, that I could turn this around pretty quickly and make, you know, $400 off of it pretty easily. So we'll see what it ends up being. Man, I got if I include the wheel horse tractor that I fixed earlier this summer, which still hasn't sold, I've got, if we count that, I currently have 5 mowers ready for sale. This one, the X500, the X350, and the D140. So we'll see. Probably by the time this video drops, hopefully all of those are gone. I would really like to get the money from them, or if I get a trade deal, awesome as well. But it's the most I've had ready in a long time around here. Definitely this season, definitely since March. So just trying to round off the season good. And this Craftsman, which ended up being a good buy from what I could tell, is ready to roll on to a new home with just a little bit of maintenance and a new carburetor. Thanks again for watching this repair video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe, and thank you for the support as always, and I'll catch you all in the next video.